When Mother Nature gets angry, floods can strike at any moment and leave a trail of destruction. These unexpected and sudden tidal waves can engulf entire cities, wipe out houses, and claim lives within minutes. Prepare to be amazed and shocked as we show you the power of nature in its full glory. In today's video, we'll show you the most terrifying flash floods you can't believe are real. So make sure you stick with us till the end. Number 10. Nearly 40 cities in Brazil's state of Bahia have been affected by the floods. One of the worst affected cities is Common. One person who lives in Bahia said that this is a huge tragedy and that they don't remember anything like it happening in the city in recent years. Given how many cities and homes are involved, it is really scary. So many houses and streets are completely submerged in water. In the Brazilian city of Jussiape, the Dua and Los Dam broke, which caused already full rivers to rise and flood nearby areas. This was the second dam in 2 days to break. Number 9. Heavy rain in November 2022 caused flooding along the coast of Saudi Arabia. Most of the damage was in the city of Jeddah, where 2 people died. As a result, schools closed and flights were delayed. Mecca's main road was also closed. On December 23, 2022, flash flooding hit Mecca because of heavy rain. At the beginning of January 2023, there were more floods in Jeddah. Video of the flash flood shows cars being swept away by rushing water, and many major roads were shut down. Number 8. On the morning of Monday, January 17, 2022, there was heavy rain in Montevideo. The capital of Uruguay, and in the neighboring department of Canelones. This rain turned into a flood that flooded a number of neighborhoods in the city. Strong winds came with the heavy rain and knocked down trees and power lines, leaving 20,000 people in the area without electricity. There were big problems with traffic and public transportation. Malvin, Carrasco, Buceo, Punta Gorda, and Punta de Rieles were the areas that were hit the hardest. There were also problems in parts of the department of Canelones. The Ministry of the Interior of Uruguay said that 164 people had to leave their homes. Firefighters responded to 248 calls in the affected areas, including 67 calls about trees that had fallen and 9 calls about power poles. Number 7. From June 14th to October 2022, floods in Pakistan killed 1,739 people and caused damage worth about $14.9 billion and economic losses worth about $15.2 billion. Floods were caused right away by monsoon rains that were heavier than usual and melting glaciers after a very hot spell. Both of these things are linked to climate change. Because of the floods, more than 2.1 million people lost their homes. These floods are the deadliest in Pakistan since 2010, when nearly 2,000 people died because of flooding. They are also the deadliest in the world since the South Asian floods of 2020. There were 33 million people in Pakistan who were affected by the floods, and 897,014 homes were destroyed, and 1,391,467 damaged. Most of the animals that died were in the province of Balochistan. Also, 13,115 kilometers of roads and 439 bridges were destroyed, making it hard to get around in flood-affected areas. Over 22,000 schools were damaged or destroyed. Number 6. Heavy rains have caused mountain floods in China's Chongqing County, which have destroyed homes, roads, crops, and left people stranded. The heavy rains lasted for 13 hours, with more than 200 millimeters of rain falling in the village of General Town. A Facebook account is eager to spread the message that the tragic events in China must be shared with others. People had to give up everything they owned. It's the people, like us, who are the same. Leaders talk about climate change to stop wars, but climate change is the biggest problem humans have ever faced, and we must work together, or we will all die. Number 5. Pakistan has lost thousands of kilometers of roads because rivers overflowed their banks and caused flash floods. Pakistan has been hit by some of the worst floods in the last 100 years. At least two-thirds of the country's districts have been hit. Several things led to the extreme event, which has been seen by 33 million people and killed more than 1,200. Iran is home to the second hottest place on Earth. Researchers say that a very hot spell in April and May is likely what started the disaster. Number 4. On February 22, 2022, heavy rain caused flooding, which killed 6 people, 4 of whom were children. On March 16th, flooding hit Bukavu City and the areas around it in South Kivu Province, which is near the border with Rwanda and is on the shores of Lake Kivu. Local news outlets said that the damage was done to homes, roads, and vehicles. Cars were carried away by strong floodwaters and dumped into Lake Kivu. The commune of Kadatu was one of the places that was hit the hardest. There were 10 deaths and hundreds of homes were damaged or destroyed. Number 3. On February 15, 2022, the city of Petropolis got 258 millimeters of rain in just 3 hours, which is a lot. This was more than the city had seen in the 30 days before, and it was the worst since 1932. It was said that of the rain that fell that day, 250 millimeters fell between 4:20 and 7:20 p.m. The average amount of rain for February is 185 millimeters. Since records began in 1932, it was the biggest storm in Petropolis' history. On August 20th, 1952, it rained 168.2 millimeters in 24 hours, which was the previous record. This high amount of rain caused flooding in the city and made the mountainside unstable, which led to mudslides. Videos of the disaster, which showed cars and houses being pulled by landslides, were shared a lot on social media. By February 21st, 176 people had died. At least 27 children and teens were among the dead. As of February 28th, 231 people, including 5 who were still missing, had died. This flood and mudslide killed more people than the one in 1988, which killed 171, making this the worst in Petropolis' history. Number 2. In July 2021, there were bad floods in a number of European countries. Some were so bad that a lot of people died, and a lot of damage was done. In the United Kingdom, the floods started as flash floods that caused some damage and trouble. Several river basins in Austria, Belgium, Croatia, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, and Switzerland were later hit by floods. At least 243 people died because of these floods. 196 of them were in Germany, 43 in Belgium, 2 in Romania, 1 was in Italy, and 1 in Austria. The flooding caused widespread power outages, forced evacuations, and damage to infrastructure and crops in the areas that were hit. Belgium and Germany had the worst damage to their infrastructure. The insured losses from the floods are thought to have cost as much as 2.55 billion euros, but the total damage costs are thought to have been at least 10 billion. And number 1. On the morning of December 7th, 2022, the citizens of Lisbon were just beginning to wake up and start their day. Little did they know that in a matter of hours, their city would be devastated by a flash flood, one of the most destructive natural disasters to have ever hit Europe. The resulting flash floods inundated streets, subway stations, and homes, killing at least 17 people and injuring dozens more. The floodwaters also caused widespread damage to infrastructure and property. In the aftermath of the disaster, authorities warned residents to stay away from flood-affected areas as cleanup and rescue operations continued. Emergency services responded quickly to the disaster, rescuing people from flooded homes and helping to evacuate others to safety. Unfortunately, the flash flood in Lisbon caused tremendous damage to the city and its citizens. Alright everyone, we've come to the end of our video. If you enjoyed this video, then please give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to keep up with our latest videos. And we'll see you next time.